Hello there. Hi, everybody. It's Jillian Leslie here on a Monday, and I hope you come and join me while I am chatting about business and growing online businesses and blogging and all of that good stuff. So it's Monday. It's a beautiful day here in Austin, and we are starting to get ready for our big summer trip. We don't go away for about a week and a half, but I'm starting to just kind of figure out all the things I need to put together because, as I'm sure you know, your business does not shut down when you go on vacation. So yes, David and I will be bringing our laptops, but it's just kind of like scheduling my podcasts and all these different parts that have to happen while we're away. So that's what I've been thinking about today. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I am Jillian Leslie. I have founded with my husband 2 companies, MiloTree, which right now is a pop-up app that we sell for bloggers and creators. And also we founded Catch My Party, the largest party ideas site on the web. And I am host of the Blogger Genius podcast, which I don't know if you listen to the show. Hopefully you do. I interview successful bloggers, online entrepreneurs, industry experts, and I really try to get at what is working today. So like today, I did a podcast episode with a woman who is a lawyer to talk about all of the legal stuff that you need to know as a blogger. I think we broke it down to like the basics. It won't go live for another couple of weeks, but what I would say is it's good stuff to know. If you listen to that episode, you will understand what you need to do to protect yourself legally. So I thought it was really interesting. So be on the lookout for that. So the first thing I wanted to say today, hello people, welcome. Leave a comment if you want. I'd love to say hi to you. The first thing I want to share is I have this awesome freebie called, ready for it? The 5 secrets successful bloggers already know. These are the things that if you want to build a successful business, get this, get the freebie. I'm going to put a link to it right now in the comments. See if I can do this. So here is what it's literally, as online entrepreneurs, we have so much on our plates. Like, I don't know about you, there are days I wake up in the morning and I go, where do I start? I'm a big believer in Post-its. I have many Post-its all over my desk. And the night before, I really try to identify, like, what do I need to do the next day? I also try to think in terms of weeks and months in terms of planning. But it's a lot. We wear a lot of hats. And what I wanted to do in this freebie that I recommend you get right now is identify these 5 things that we see consistently. The most successful bloggers we work with, the things that we do in our own businesses, this is kind of what we see over and over again. A lot of it is putting the pieces together before you start creating stuff. So it's about thinking through, what is my blog post about? How is it going to grow my business? But really take a look and tell me what you think. But these are the secrets that we consistently are seeing over and over again. And I recommend you print it out, put it on your desk so that when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, I need to do this, you go, okay, wait, is this going to grow these items? One of the things that you will read in the 5 secrets is the successful bloggers we know, the most successful, have multiple income streams, but they have figured out something to sell to their audiences. It could be a service, it could be a physical product, it could be a digital product, it could be a group. We're going to be talking a lot about memberships and subscriptions, and we, David and I, are building out a payment platform for you. If you are building a subscription business, reach out to me because David and I are building something called MiloTree Easy Payments. And it is a little button that you can put on your blog to collect subscription payments where people will get charged once a month for your membership, for your mastermind, for your subscription box, physical good, whatever it is that you're selling consistently to a group of people. We want to help you monetize that. We want to help you run that business so you don't have to worry about the technology. This is really good if you have a Facebook page, big or Facebook group, and your people want to learn from you or get something from you monthly. This is a great solution. So if that is you, please reach out to me at Jillian@milotree.com, because we can help really get you that recurring revenue. You know, I talk about this all the time. Recurring revenue is a beautiful thing, like ads on your site, recurring revenue, things where money is just showing up. So be thinking about products you can sell and something that you can continue to sell over and over again, like in a subscription. So I'm going to be talking more about that. But I wanted to talk about my most recent podcast episode, which is with my friend Laura Fuentes. And the way Laura's been on the show, gosh, I think 3 other times. I think there was one I did 2 parts and another time as well. And Laura has this very successful meal planning company called Momables. Also, she's a YouTuber. She has over 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and she's a food blogger, and she teaches people how to create healthy recipes for their families. And during the pandemic, what I love about Laura is she's really honest. And she said, people are having these like amazing pandemic experiences with their families, and they're all biking together and taking photos. Oh, wait, somebody said, hello, happy Monday. Oh, thank you. Will you tell me who you are? Because I'll also try to look you up on Facebook on my phone so I can see. Anyway, she was really honest, and she's like, you know what? My pandemic was not like the other, the families where everybody's like kumbayaing and hugging and doing movie nights and that kind of thing. And I love that about Laura. And Laura said that a lot of her sponsors, a lot of her sponsored content, her sponsors went away during the pandemic because everybody, was cutting their budgets. So she was freaking out. And then she started to think about one thing that Laura is really into is wellness. And she's got this devoted group of followers who are mothers who want to put healthy food on the table for their families. Well, guess what? These mothers are multidimensional, and they, I don't know if you feel this way, as possibly, I'm sure most of the people who are watching this are women, probably most of you are mothers, but in a way we put our own health on the back burner so that we can, have healthy kids and family life and all this stuff. And she saw that a lot of the people in her community were doing the same thing. And she thought to herself, hey, why don't I teach wellness to women, to mothers who again, are not feeding their well. I don't know if you felt this way, but like, especially when my daughter was little, I'm like, you know what? I just need to be a mom and busy. And like, I've got so much to do, kind of like I'll sleep when I'm dead, that feeling. And I think we all suffer for it. And in truth, we are better parents and better mothers and better wives, better friends when we put our health first. So she said, why don't I think about creating a membership for women who want to not just provide healthy meals for their families, but also be healthy themselves. And what she decided to do, which I love, because if you follow me or you listen to what I teach in my podcast and what I talk about a lot, is you got to test new ideas. So let's say you've come out of the pandemic and you're feeling like what I've built up to the pandemic doesn't fit me anymore, and I want to try something new. My recommendation is to think about pivoting. But the way that you do this is you come up with a hypothesis, you start talking to your audience about it. Maybe you don't have an audience. Then start going into Facebook groups in this new niche, new area that you're thinking about to see what are people struggling with? What can I help them with? And then what Laura did, which I thought was so brilliant, is she created a webinar and she emailed her list, and I think she posted it on social media. And lo and behold, she led a down and dirty webinar where she talked about wellness. And the people on the webinar loved it. And they felt like she was providing so much value. And that's it. That is, and then she, I think, led one or two other webinars. I don't quite remember, but that's it. It's being scrappy. And she talked about how she didn't feel prepared and she wasn't 100% sure how it was going to go. And she did it anyway. This is it. And remember, I talk about this all the time. Assume most of your experiments are going to fail. It's horrible. It's horrible to say, but it's true. But that means you're in the game and you're testing stuff and you're trying it. And I always think going live with an audience to say, hey guys, how do you feel about this is super, super duper valuable. It's like you show up raw and your audience knows that it's raw and they usually go with you. So for example, I don't, some of you have signed up for this. If in fact, so I have a new course called The Beginner's Guide to WordPress, how to write killer blog posts here. Let's see. I think I have a banner for this. Hold on. Yes, I do. There we go. WordPress. I have a WordPress course called The Beginner's Guide to WordPress, how to write killer blog posts with ease. And you can find it at milotree.com/WordPress. I am going to put a link to it in the comments. But the reason I am sharing this, one, is I want you to explore my course if in fact you feel a little uneasy with WordPress, which by the way, we all do. WordPress is not necessarily the most intuitive platform. It is a wonderful platform to grow your business on, but it's not that intuitive. So my course will show you how to understand WordPress, but also how to think about creating blog posts. So what do we do? Well, David and I, we are WordPress experts. So we've been blogging since 2009. David sets up tons of WordPress blogs for people. Like, we get it. We understand the ins and outs. And it was so funny because David would set up somebody's blog and we'd be like, great, here are the keys to the kingdom. Here's your login information, go. And then we realized that people would be like, what do I do? And we'd be like, what do you mean? What do you do? And they'd go, I don't know how to use WordPress. I heard WordPress was a good platform. And so all of a sudden we're like, ding, 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 we see a need. So again, always think about the things that you know intuitively that seem easy to you that might not be easy to somebody else. Like, it was a moment where I thought, oh, I guess that's right. You have to learn how to use WordPress. You just don't. You're not born knowing how to do this. So what did I do? I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to email my list. And I have all these people whose blogs we have set up because we offer tech help. And so we set up people's blogs. And I said, hey, do you want to do a live, I think the first time I did it, it was like an hour-and-a-half workshop on WordPress. And a bunch of people signed up. So I put together a PowerPoint presentation or like Google Slides, and David and I taught people live how to do WordPress. So like how to set it up, how to think about their content. We kind of switched between the technical stuff and then more of the kind of strategic stuff about writing a post. And it was a success. So we decided to do it. But our balance wasn't right. It was too technical. It was like we lost people on that part. And the part that I was showing of like how to actually think about content was too fast. Okay, we learned, even though people liked it, but I thought we could do better. So we did another live workshop where we charged people, by the way, to show up. And I experimented with pricing. The first time I priced it more, I think at like $75. And the second time I priced it at $50. Guess what? I got more people for the $75 one than the $50. What? Anyway, we showed up again live. This time we did it in an hour. We did some of the technical stuff, but not as much. We did more of the strategic stuff and it worked. And it was like, whoa, we've really learned, but it was really learning by interacting because we said we're going to stay live as long as you have questions. So we're going to teach and then we're going to just answer stuff. And people asked a bunch of questions, a lot of questions we would not have thought, oh, this is what people are struggling with. This is how they're thinking about it. And then I took the information from these 2 sessions and built a course based on what we taught live. Now, here's what I learned. Building the course was not as easy as I thought it would be. Like dealing with videos and people are more forgiving when you show up live. Laura and I talk about this in the podcast episode. In fact, I don't think I put a link to the podcast episode that Laura and I were talking about. Let me do that. Here is the podcast. Okay, here's the podcast episode. So people are more forgiving when you show up live than when you are creating a course. And so it took longer to, first of all, break down what I was teaching live into little sections. And my advice is break it down into even smaller sections than you think. I think the longest video I put up is like 11 minutes so that people can, if they want, they can watch it at double speed. They can go back and watch it multiple times. And I notice for myself when I buy courses, when I've got a 30-minute video, I find that intimidating. You give me a 10-minute video and I'll watch it. I find the same thing when I am on YouTube. So anyway, I learned this as I was building out the course. And I even had to remind myself to do B- work, which I'm always teaching. B-, it's above average. It's good work. It's not perfect work, because remember, perfection is not profitable. So I had to tell myself, go, like post it, go. And I'd be like, a little embarrassed. And I did it. And I got to the end of the course and I've been selling it and people have been responding with just unbelievable feedback. But is it a little rough around the edges? It is. Like my lighting's not great. But I've been going back in, getting feedback and just fixing little things that I wouldn't have thought of. So one thing somebody said to me is, in all the videos, can you say this is what is in this video? Not that I do like a description, but people are like, hey, could you actually go, hey, you want to learn about categories, or hey, you want to learn about adding links in your posts, or hey, you want to think about, what blog posts to write, those kinds of things. So I had never thought of that. So I've gone back now and added descriptions in the description, adding here is what is in this video, so that if you are using it as a resource, which I recommend you do, you know where to find stuff. That's where you co-create with your audience. That's where your audience is so important, because they will have needs that you would never have even anticipated. That is what Laura has found as well, starting with a webinar. And this is what I recommend. I recommend you start raw and you risk being embarrassed, and you will learn. You'll learn if people are interested in what you're thinking. You will learn kind of like for David and me, on the first time we did our WordPress workshop and we did too much. And but we only were able to see that by going through it. And that is my recommendation for you. If you are thinking of pivoting your business, I recommend it not be an enormous pivot. I recommend it be a small pivot. So for Laura, going from healthy meal plans for families, where mothers are typically the ones buying her product, to healthy lifestyle for moms is not such a huge pivot. Going from meal plans for moms to investing strategies in Bitcoin, it's kind of a jump. I'm not sure that your audience is going to go with you. So make sure that now, ultimately, it could be that she teaches moms about wellness. And then as she's talking about wellness, she starts talking about financial wellness, like down the road. And then she starts talking about Bitcoin. And then maybe eventually, I'm talking months down the road, she's like, hey, and if people are going, oh my God, I'm a mom and I want to learn about Bitcoin, and how to stay healthy with Bitcoin, then you start getting that feedback and you go, hey, maybe I could teach this. But I wouldn't recommend doing that big leap at the beginning and assuming your audience is going to come with you. It's like you put it out there, you kind of pivot a little bit, put it out there, see if your audience is responding, go deeper. And then you can pivot again, see if your audience will come along with you, hang there for a while and go deeper. That's what I recommend. So, it's hard enough as it is. It's hard enough to test stuff. I have to assume that your tests initially will, not that they'll fail, but they won't be like a perfect fit. You probably won't hit it out of the park on the first try. So, but it's about staying in the game, and it's about listening, and it's about saying, ooh, like stepping back and going like objectively, what could we do better? What worked? What didn't work? Being in conversation with your audience so that they can tell you stuff like, hey, I would like a bulleted list of what's in this video. I could do that. I didn't even think about that. So those are the kinds of things. It's like messy. I teach this all the time. Growing businesses is messy. It's like showing up when your hair's kind of weird and when you don't want to. And you think, oh God, people are judging me. It's like all of those things. It's like, can you take all of that craziness and put it aside so that you can actually be of service to your audience? I was sharing this on another podcast episode. The way that I trick myself into showing up, like showing up here and getting out of my own head, is when I think to myself, can I help somebody else and make their life and their path a little bit easier? So if somebody's sitting here and going, oh my God, I really would like to pivot, but I'm too afraid. And I can say to them, you know what, it's going to be messy. Chances are you're going to make an experiment. It might not work, but hang in there. This is how it worked for us. Maybe this is helpful for you. This is what Laura was able to discover. That's it. Like if I can make your path a little easier, then you know what, I've succeeded. And then going live has been totally worth it. So just be thinking about reframing things. Being an online entrepreneur is like the opposite of perfection. If you're a perfectionist, being an online entrepreneur will kind of beat it out of you because nothing you do will be perfect. And as soon as you optimize stuff, something's going to fall apart. It's just the nature of it. It teaches you to kind of roll with things. It teaches you that things don't line up the way you always want them to, but then unexpectedly something starts working that you never thought would work. How many of you have this experience? So with Catch My Party, which is our party ideas site that we first started, our first business, which is still growing and going strong, we pin a ton of pins on Pinterest. Pinterest drives a lot of traffic to Catch My Party. Some of our best pins are so ugly or so weird. And I have no idea why people like these pins. And there are certain pins that I think are so beautiful that I think everybody would love. And guess what? Crickets. So there are, of course, lots of pins that I think this will do well, and it does do well. But there's so many unexpected things in your business, and you have to just sometimes throw up your hands and go, I have no idea why this works or clicks with people, or I have no idea why this doesn't click with people. And that's like that weird part of where we need to let go of control, even though we want control so badly, just because some of it is just out of our hands. I'll never know why, like our main favorite pin, maybe it was when we pinned it, maybe it, who knows? I don't know. So there's a lot of like, I don't know in my own business, and I have to embrace that. I mean, I try to figure it out, but at the end of the day, there are certain things I just don't know. So that's what I want to leave you with. I hope that this conversation just opens you up to new ideas and to trying new things. And if your business, if your blog is starting to feel like a sweater that is too tight and too itchy, and you need to kind of take the sweater off or at least unbutton the buttons and try something new, I am right there. Like, reach out to me and let me know what you're thinking. If you want to bounce ideas off me, like, just message me and tell me this, and I will know that it is scary, and I will know that it is like jumping into the unknown. But I will be there because that's how you stay in the game. And our businesses have seasons, right? When you have, this as a parent, like when you have super little babies, it's a very different experience than when you have toddlers or when you have kindergartners or when you have sixth graders. Or I now have somebody who just graduated from middle school and she's going to be a high schooler. And that's crazy to me because it didn't feel like that long ago she was a toddler or baby. But each time there are different phases, and the goal for your blog, your business, is to stay in it during the different phases and to change and morph as you move through. So that is what I want to leave you with. So I want to say happy Monday. Thank you for hanging with me and watching this. If you are watching the replay, please say hashtag replay. I would love it. Part 2 of Laura's interview is going live on Wednesday. I can't wait for you to hear it. I think it's really good. I love that she's putting out that she has no idea how this is going to go. She's just kind of holding on for the ride, and she's listening and she's moving forward and all of that good stuff. So again, reach out to me if you have any questions or thoughts or anything. I love hearing from you, and I will see you here again soon. Okay. Bye-bye.